So let's begin with the reasoning, the justification in the minds of the ICC. Give us some insight and how significant this move is.
The application for the arrest warrants, which was made back in June, and the reasons given by the court today for the acceptance of the application and the issuing of the arrest warrants is based on how Israel has conducted its military campaign in Gaza over the last 13 months. The court, the application by the prosecutor, and then the reasons released by the court today focus on starvation, the denial or the slowing down of humanitarian aid, and the subsequent humanitarian suffering. And certainly the evidence provided by statements and reports by the United Nations over the last year, by humanitarian organizations who've been active in Gaza over the last year, do point to an inability to get humanitarian trucks with aid into Gaza, the deliberate use of starvation, the use of cutting off of water, the destruction of civilian homes and businesses, the denial or the slowing down of healthcare and medical equipment getting into Gaza. All of these factored in the reasons given by the court today as to why it was seeking the arrest warrants with respect to the two Israeli leaders, with respect to the Hamas leader, obviously the manner of the attacks of October 7th, 2023, which both killed a number of Israeli civilians and also resulted in 250 hostages being taken into Gaza.
So, Michael, what does this mean? How enforceable is this ruling? Is there a process to arrest these men now?
Well, the arrest warrants are out there. There are 124 countries, about two-thirds of the members of the United Nations, who are members of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. And each member, including Canada, has an obligation that if somebody for whom an arrest warrant has been issued is on their soil, they have an obligation as a treaty member to arrest them. So this means that Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant and the Hamas leader will likely never visit Europe again, never visit Canada or a number of other countries who are members. Now, remember, the United States is not a member, nor is Israel, of the Rome Statute. So Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant can continue going to the United States, but elsewhere they would not be permitted. The ICC, the International Criminal Court, does not do trials in absentia. So they actually have to have the defendants in the court in The Hague in order to go ahead. So there will be no trial as long as Netanyahu and Gallant are not arrested.
I've just got a few seconds up, but I do want to get your thoughts because you mentioned the U.S. and Canada, and the Prime Minister has said in the past that he thought it was troubling that there was some equivalency being made between Israel's right to defend itself, and what Hamas did in October of 2023.
Well, the equivalency is that all have to obey international law, and the ways in which you conduct war or the ways in which you conduct resistance to an occupation have to be within the rules of international law. And if you've offended that as a group which says it's resisting occupation, Hamas, or the way in which you're saying you defend yourself, Israel, if you cross those bright red lines, then the law is supposed to speak to your conduct. And that's what I think is the justified equivalency in issuing these arrest warrants against leaders of both.